And welcome to Amphlett Reviews. Today we're doing a quick review for EUREKA's lineup for September. That is Duel to the Death, and the only film for September, thank the heavens. The next film lineup is Full Alert by Ringo Lam, which is coming out at the end of November, which I'm very curious to check out, being the fact of the Ringo Lam Explored series, which I'm currently doing, which I'm looking for all of his other movies kind of thing, and kind of deconstructing a little bit of his kind of style, his directing, his writing a little bit, his collaborations, which is very interesting. I also got the Vengeance box set, which is the kind of 7-movie kind of box set, which is coming out. Very curious about that. And of course, you got the Shovel Wars box set in December by Arrow, and a little bit of collaboration with 88 Films there, with a couple of films in that box set. So there's plenty of kind of Hong Kong releases around the corner. Luckily, there's a little bit of a slowdown in some places. Hopefully, they don't release a bombshell in December from EUREKA, because there's nothing lined up for December at this current moment. But we have Duel of the Death, which was released in 1983, directed by Siu-Tung, who's done the Chinese Ghost Story kind of trilogy and the Swordsman trilogy as well. He's gone to do some really fantastic films. I haven't seen many of his other movies, unfortunately, made down to access or kind of terrible, kind of poor quality. Very beloved movies, very influential films that have made a really huge impact on other movies and other people's careers. Their terms of like stories and the kind of epic kind of scale action set pieces, kind of fly and wire work, that kind of stuff. I look forward to checking them out at some point. But for today, we are talking about Duel to the Death, which is his first directorial action debut, which is very interesting for a kind of first-time director properly doing a feature film like this. If this is true, damn, that's pretty impressive for a first-time director. He definitely knows what he wants. He definitely experimented with ideas and kind of pushing, crazy kind of visuals on the screens, and keeping it simple also with the writing and kind of, where the story needs to go. A very simple film that has some quite unique kind of twists and turns in the mix of it kind of things, and definitely some spanners in the work. Duel to Death is a very interesting one for sure. I think it's a very entertaining film. It's a very enjoyable movie. I definitely did enjoy my time with it. It was a lot more serious than I was expecting, if I'm being absolutely honest. Even though there's some wacky stuff in it, it's kind of like you've got, on the one hand, you've got the most throwback kind of 70s Shaw Brothers type of story you can imagine. Very kind of simple story that you've probably seen before. The other 10% is Zulu warriors, crazy magic mountain with ninjas and kind of them on kites, and then giant ninjas, and ninjas go underground and explode, and it's just okay.
So just step forward then. Yeah, onto the mat, yeah?
And it's very strange because the film is deadly serious, a lot more so than I thought for a 90-minute film. The story is basically two countries, one Japan, one China. Both have kind of represented warriors that have been kind of raised up and kind of brought up and being taught the best of the best in their kind of skill sets kind of thing, with their kind of swords play and their kind of martial arts. And they've taken 10 years out of their life to basically form this training, get ready for it, because this duel happens every 10 years, and it's a very traditional, it's a very honourable thing for each country. And they kind of have duel to the death on an epic cliffside, and they kind of go at each other with swordplay and their own martial arts. And you get to see both of these two kind of warriors in their own kind of hometowns and their own kind of environments, and you get to see how badass they are in individual kind of scenarios and their own kind of motivations. One of the things the film does really, really well, and actually was quite engaging despite how serious it is and how long it takes to get to certain beats in the film, is that the characters are actually really engaging. And I actually thought they did a really good job respecting both kind of Japan and China and their hometowns, and the kind of who they are as characters, who they are as people, and the kind of people around them kind of thing as they go around kind of thing. And there's some really wacky kind of aspects to each one. The Chinese kind of aspect has got this kind of really crazy kind of talking parrot, and he's got an old kind of master that doesn't want to let down kind of thing. He's definitely a lot more kind of honourable and kind of respectful, and he's just curious and he's nice, and he just wants, he's willing to kick some ass, he's willing to do what his duty is, but there has to be another way, there has to be another kind of way of going about this kind of duel kind of thing, this tournament. And he definitely is very more inquisitive, and he's challenging these ideas, he's creating discussions, and he definitely doesn't really want to fight, but he's going to if he needs to, because of the idea of the honor code and kind of, you know, respectful nature and playing fair, and he likes the idea of that kind of thing. That's why he wears white, and that's why he's just a very nice kind of breezy kind of character to kind of follow for the film. The Japanese character is also quite nice in the film as well. He's definitely a lot more ruthless. And his approach, he's definitely a lot more chill back. He definitely feels like a bit more of a lad's lad. I love the fact he kind of, you know, tells the kid at the start of the film, you know, how to kind of beat this character kind of thing through swordplay. I thought it was really fun. It definitely a very laid back character, but very serious and very kind of on the point kind of thing of the samurai spirit. Both have kind of viewpoints on the actual tournament itself. Kind of the halfway point for the film is a giant epic discussion on the idea of one aspect is, why are we fighting to kill? Why don't we kind of battle? We'll kind of learn and teach others, like the next generations of that kind of martial arts. Why build up all that kind of talent and that kind of effort and, you know, throw it away for one door? It's a bit of a waste kind of thing. You know, let's learn from it and kind of, you know, develop and kind of pass on, you know, passing on that kind of knowledge. And the kind of Japanese approach, his approach is epic duel, defeat is the ultimate victory kind of thing. You know, if I'm going to die, I want to die through my opponent. If I'm going to win, then I want to be known as the winner. And I think there is only winning or losing. And that is a good example also brought up in the early parts of the film of his master that challenged him for a duel. And, you know, the idea of kind of falling to a kind of great samurai, a great kind of honor, and kind of the legacy of these two characters are on the line, and the legacy of the countries are on the line also, which I think is very interesting. And it's, again, once again, kind of Hong Kong cinema exploring those kind of themes, which we've done multiple times with One-Armed Swordsman kind of thing. Killer Constable is referenced heavily in this film. It's very similar to Killer Constable, an idea as well, a very similar kind of character that is very much, you know, about his country and about what he does, what, you know, he needs to do what he needs to do, and he starts to question, starts to doubt the motivations of his task and, you know, the sacrifice of his kind of group as the journey goes along. And that's a fantastic film that explores a character that is 100% fealty to his kind of, you know, emperor and his kind of, you know, his job and his kind of status, to basically going, yeah, fuck this ain't worth it anymore. And these characters definitely have those moments for sure also in the film, and there's definitely some interesting kind of twists and turns. There is a couple of characters also that want to interfere with this kind of you know, challenge and duel kind of thing. They want to exploit it for kind of, you know, control and power, and these aspects in kind of Hong Kong cinema that I love exploring to see, and the idea of values and how can you have good honourable kind of code and a good value within yourself, your true self, within a world that doesn't have them kind of. It's a really strange mix. It kind of works for the most part. I think it works even more so towards the kind of the third act of the film, where it kind of starts to wrap up kind of thing. I think it definitely comes a bit more closer in. And most of the film is quite serious, and then when he does wacky with the ninjas and does a really outlandish kind of scene, kind of almost like Power Rangers kind of thing level, it's a bit jarring in places. It's really fun to watch.
Did you see that?
But you didn't know that I'm a fucking ninja.
It's fantastic, and I love the practicality of it and just how crazy those sequences are. But it almost feels like they kind of filmed them to kind of boost the film up a little bit. Oh, this film's a bit too talky, there's not much fighting in it, so let's just kind of throw in some ninjas to do some shit for no reason, and then cut back to the characters. And it's just, that's what it feels like. It feels so separated. It feels like a separate movie. The presence is there, they're in the background, there's some shit going on with them, of course, but they're there just for the entertainment purpose. They're there to kind of spice the film up a little bit, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So yeah, Duel to the Death is a pretty wacky, kind of entertaining film. It's definitely very enjoyable with the crazy ninjas and the kind of, you know, great characters, great cinematography, great kind of wire work. Just really incredible how much this film really pushed the boundaries kind of thing without much CGI kind of thing, you know, that time, and just doing these films on location, on sets kind of thing, and doing some really fantastic kind of editing trickery. I think it's fantastic. Some of the visual parts of it are brilliant. Some of the twists and turns in the story are really interesting as well. I do think it's a one-off for me personally. I did enjoy it, but it's not a film that I'm going to really explore that much, if I'm being absolutely honest. It's definitely a very enjoyable one-off. Definitely a lot more serious than I thought it would be. I think most of the film is very, very serious, kind of, you know, kind of Shawbo's kind of throwback, with a little bit of that kind of crazy kind of Zulu Warriors, kind of crazy ninja stuff. The re-release edition was also fantastic. You get a limited edition slipcase, which if you want to get access to it, get it very soon, guys, because it will go out of print. put it one side there. I will agree with Fanatical Dragon on his review. I do prefer this artwork. I think it's a lot more badass. Just that kind of simple nature, that kind of cliffside and the kind of the weaponry, I think is a lot more kick-ass and a lot more mysterious. Where I do think that is just a bit too. I don't really get much from that, if I'm being absolutely honest. It's just very what? Yeah, that says a lot more to me than the other artwork, so I will fully agree upon that. But yeah, here's the edition there, guys. I'll show you the back artwork there. The extras are very good also. You get a brand new extra with the writer, which really goes into a lot of detail about his kind of, getting into kind of writing in general for TV, for kind of Hong Kong cinema, exploring directors and kind of his career and where he went, and, being a part of that film and having the original kind of scripts with him on the interview is fantastic. Really good interview, a lot of good insight into kind of how that movie was made and kind of how demanding that director was, which is really fantastic. So yeah, brand new interview. You also get a new 2K scan from the original negative, audio commentary, you get a Duel to the Death archival interview, you also get alternative English credits, still galleries, and rare production stills, artwork, and many, many more, and trailers, of course. And also, you also get the nice, fantastic artwork there. You get a really interesting booklet that really kind of dives into kind of the making of the film a little bit, and you get some nice cool little poster artworks there, some really cool little imagery. So there you go, guys. That's been my opinion on Duel to the Death. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, guys. What do you think of the film? Please comment down below. What are your recommendations for more crazy epic ninjas? There's not many epic ninja movies I've seen. There's got to be more out there for sure. Now there's been a few recommendations in places, but what are your recommendations, guys? Please comment down below. Until next time, guys, Amphlett Reviews, signing out.
Then